again, guys. This is Dr. Phillip again with another Heart Health Talk. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, thanks for coming back. Good to see you again. Today, I'd like to discuss a topic that many have questions about. And the term is pretty scary. It's written here, it says vegan. I like to consider it plant-based, and I'm going to answer a few questions that most people have who are either transitioning or curious to know about the diet, the health benefits of it, and how you can transition easily if you're interested. So the first question I tend to get, because I am on a plant-based diet, is where do you get your protein from? So what we have building blocks in our bodies. We have between 20 and 22 amino acids, okay? Those are the building blocks of proteins. There are, depending on who you talk to, there are about 8 to 10 essential amino acids. Essential means we cannot make them on our own, and we have to source them through the foods that we eat. So with plant-based diet, they might be considered incomplete because there isn't one plant-based food that has all 8. A complete essential amino acid food would be considered meat, eggs, things of that nature. So for the plant-based diet, they are accessible within the plant-based foods, but in varying amounts, which means you would have to eat a variety of plant-based foods in order to get all 8. So it is possible to get the correct amount of protein from a plant-based diet. Beans, lentils, soy, tempeh, just to give you an idea of the types of food that you would need to include in your diet daily. And we will discuss soy soon. I'll give you more details regarding that. So carbs are actually really healthy for your body. What you want to do is you want to minimize the amount of refined carbs that you take in. Refined carbs would be considered pasta, white bread, cookies, things made with white flour. You want to stay away from that. The reason is because they lack fiber and B vitamins. So you want to find a quality carb. So whole grains, wheat bread, brown rice, things of that nature that will give you the fiber you need for a healthy digestive tract, and also the B vitamins which helps to provide you with energy. Also, it's okay to have the pastas and the cookies. It's just you want to minimize how much you actually take in. Balance is key. Who doesn't like snacks? So the next question regarding iron, you can get enough iron through a plant-based diet. You would mainly get the iron from dark green leafy vegetables, so kale, spinach, things of that nature. And also beans and lentils. You want to combine that with a source of vitamin C. So for instance, if you're going to make beans, you want to maybe add a tomato sauce to that. Or if you're making a smoothie with spinach or with kale, add some strawberries, high in vitamin C. Iron is important for cell function in the blood, and you hear things of anemia, and people might be nervous about changing their diet, whether they're getting these sources to allow their bodies to function properly. You can still do this on this diet and actually do a good job of it. So calcium, that's another big question. We've all grown up and been taught that you need your milk in order to get enough calcium into your bones for health purposes, for strong bones. But I like to tell you that you can also get it on a plant-based diet. Now, in terms of drinking milk or just eating dairy products for calcium, dairy can tend to produce imbalance in the body. So it can throw your pH levels off into an acidic environment, and your body needs to basically neutralize that. And what it does is, in order to do that, it will take calcium from your bones in order to create that balance. So there are some studies that show that those who are on a animal-based diet, who drink milk, have actually more fractures, because if you think about it, calcium is being taken out of your bones in order to create balance elsewhere, making the bones slightly brittle. Osteoporosis is a term you may have heard. So that's the way the body balances itself. When it's not getting what it needs, it takes it from one other area. But the good news is, on a plant-based diet, dark leafy veggies are a great way to go. Kale, collard greens, broccoli, spinach are good options, and also fortified non-dairy milk. So your almond milk, your coconut milk, you could find sources of calcium being fortified in those areas. Now you have soy, which is questionable. A lot of people are concerned because of the effects on your hormones. So soy, while there are some great sources, tempeh, edamame, because they're in its whole form, soy, what it does in the body is it produces phytoestrogen, which basically mimics natural estrogen in the body. So it will bind to the estrogen receptor in your body and basically ward off the natural process of estrogen happening, if that makes sense to you. So you have something coming in and mimicking a natural response that your body should make. So it would basically throw off the balance of your body actually knowing when to make the proper amount of estrogen. Now you do get estrogen in whole milk and dairy products. You get natural forms of it. But with soy, if it isn't a whole source, like edamame or tempeh, it does create that phytoestrogen. So even some of the processed or plant-based sausages, you'll see soy-free in some, and you'll see soy in others. And you want to just, ward off. If you have concerns, then, you can also still find good sources of soy or protein. A lot of options now. Being on a plant-based diet for the first time, a lot of people tend to get hungry. So yes, eat more food. You are allowed. Most of the plant-based foods are low in calories, so you're burning it off much faster. Your body's taking what it needs, but you are allowed to eat more food. So spinach, mushrooms, anything that you find that you like. Plant-based, you can eat as much as you want, and your body will process what it needs. And some tend to even lose weight, even though they're eating more. The caloric intake is less. So go ahead and dig in. So I will suggest supplements when you are on a plant-based diet, specifically vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is necessary for our red blood cells, for our nervous system. There are some individuals who have low B12 and they may have numbness, tingling in the feet. They may be low in B12. So we do need it for function. Where you could get it from, if you are on a animal diet, which is okay. You notice that most, say for instance, cows, they eat plants. So B12 is found actually in the soil that the plants grow out of, and these animals are eating it, so they're getting the B12, and it is being stored in their body. So you are getting somewhat of the B12 from the animal nutritional sources. But for a plant-based, you would need to take some form of a supplement in order to get it in your body. We do store it in the liver. So if you get enough, your body can actually store some for later use. I would suggest taking a methylcobalamin, so that way your body can process it much better. Another source is nutritional yeast. So another concern is getting omega-3s, because now you have removed fish from your diet to go on this plant-based diet. There are 3 types of omega-3s. You have ALA, DHA, and EPA, okay? ALA is actually a plant source of omega-3, and ALA is converted to DHA. Now, when we're discussing fish and getting those sources of omega-3s, fish actually eat algae. That's where they are getting their omega-3s from. So it's not actually the fish that has it, is that they're eating it from algae. So for a plant-based diet, you can simply take an algae supplement. If you wanted to be strict with getting your omega-3s, you can take an algae oil, which will help you gain the omega amount that you need for your diet for that day. Other sources are flaxseed and walnuts. So it's possible to get all that you need from a plant-based diet as it pertains to your omega-3s. Another supplement I like to discuss is vitamin D. So vitamin D is considered a sunshine vitamin. You know, you go and lay out in the sun. Summertime, most people are outdoors, so they may get it. If you are darker skinned, you may not be able to actually absorb it from the sun as well. So supplementation is also a great way. And there are some studies that show that it does help reduce symptoms with the COVID virus. So you may have heard some things like that, but it's definitely a great source to take. Lastly, there's another question regarding whether you can be on a plant-based diet during pregnancy. Now, with pregnancy, there are a lot of demand on the body to absorb as much nutrients and foods that will help produce this human. So, you know, definitely take this as advice, but also seek advice from a professional. You would have to definitely be diligent in taking in the correct amounts of plant-based foods and supplements. So though this diet seems like it can be very challenging for one who is used to having meats and dairy, animal products in their diet, especially culturally, there are benefits to being on a plant-based diet, vegan diet, and I consider it a diet of variety. You can definitely get all the nutrients that you need. The benefits would be you may lose some weight. There's help with your cardiovascular system because you're not taking in as much fats. Your sugar levels, those on medications for diabetes, you are going to get a reduction in a lot of those inflammatory symptoms causing most of the diseases. Other things that also will be great is on the environment. The animals aren't being harmed or taken in, but it's not to knock those meat eaters. I was once a meat eater. But things that I have noticed is I sleep better. I can get 6 hours of sleep, wake up refreshed. There isn't a heaviness after I eat. I have maintained my weight. I work out, so I'm not losing muscle mass because I'm taking in enough of the proteins that I need for my diet. My blood pressure is great, so you have a lot of benefits to taking on this type of a lifestyle. Is it for everyone? Certainly it isn't. You have your opportunity to eat whatever you want. You know, there's so much out there to try. But for those who are considering for health purposes, definitely seek advice from a trained professional. Make sure you know your blood work, your blood chemistries, your lipid levels. You want to know where you stand. And if you do decide to go on this diet, you can go back and reassess to see whether things have changed. Again, thanks for watching. Please hit that bell, subscribe, and share this with your friends and those that you love. Definitely nice to see you again, and I'll see you again soon.